entirely different.
Yeah, that's entirely different.
Yeah, the community, because when I was working.
55 and over, or?
Yes, sir.
Not necessarily like a full-blown, retirement. A 55 plus is what is referred to as active adult, right?
And that's what I'm in now.
That's what you're in now?
Yeah.
Whereabouts are you, may I ask?
Boulder Ridge in
Which is in
Canton.
We're in Windsor.
At an active adult community?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else living in an active, no?
I grew up in Windsor. Did you?
How many people have lived in their current residence for more than 10 years? 20 years?
I did before I sold my house.
30 years. 40 years. 50?
Oh,
wow. Johnny? Attaboy. Good for you. Nice.
Yeah, I lost my wife and a couple of kids along the way, and I have some kids across the way, and they call me Mr. John.
Mr. John, nice. Yeah.
And I believe that if you try to be good to people, most people will be good back.
Yeah,
That's
true. That's good neighbors.
That's what I live by.
That's a good one. Yep.
And,
Can you call the White House and let them know about that? Can you give that message?
What about calling our state? What about calling our state?
Yeah, all right, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't want to take the cover off of that one.
You picked up on it.
No, the high school kids are letting them know.
Yes, they are.
They are. Good that they're involved.
Yeah. So many of you have lived in that residence for quite some time, right? And the number of people that have moved into something different than that residence recently?
Mine, I've been there less than 4 years, and the reason I did is because taxes, property taxes, so unbelievable. I mean, I was losing money.
Paying
and
taxes?
so I couldn't keep, I had a house in Simsbury, I loved it, but it was just too much,
right.
so I decided.
Who else? Anybody else, recently? You said you moved recently?
15 years.
15 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else?
15.
15, you're an active adult as well?
No.
Condo?
No, just a regular condo.
Regular condo, okay.
So you have children.
How about some of you fellas? Anybody?
There aren't any.
No.
Well, I live with Joan in a community. It is not organized in any other way than a condominium.
Right.
We get no services.
Right.
Other than the typical
Town
grass and
maintenance.
snow.
Right.
You know, that's
maintenance.
taken off.
That's the way
on
it
the
is
outside of our unit, and it's to me is that what an active adult?
Well, let's rather than calling it active adult, let's call it maintenance-free living, right?
That's
People
what
that
everybody's
don't have to
maintenance-free.
cut their grass or plow their snow.
Right.
And
We have no swimming pool, we have no clubhouse,
Okay.
we just have
A dwelling, right, yeah.
Now, where I live, there is a clubhouse, and we do meet, well, when the winter got bad because of the flu, we stopped, but we would
Right.
meet like once a month, and, have a potluck or something like that,
Mhm.
mostly. But I have to admit, even though it's 55 and over, in truth, most of us are in our 70s.
Yeah, that's usually the way it is now.
And 80s.
Yeah. Again, my folks are 84 and 85, and they've just moved into one exactly like you're in. Yeah. So let's talk about that next level of residence that classifies, as a retirement community. Sometimes you'll hear the phrase continuing care retirement community, and let's separate assisted living and skilled nursing out of that. We're not talking about assisted living and skilled nursing, which typically, as you know from your friends and family members, you only move there when you have health issues, right?
Right.
We're talking about an independent living environment that might have additional services available to you, health services, if you need them. How many people are familiar with those?
McLean in
McLean.
Simsbury, very good, very good.
What other names? Can you give me other names besides McLean?
Seacrest in Bloomfield.
Seabury?
Seabury.
Yeah.
Seabury,
Who else have you heard of?
Atria, Hamilton Heights.
Now that would be Atria. That would be assisted living. Yep. Masonic Care.
How about Avery Heights?
Avery Heights. Macaulay. Anybody else? Any others? No. And I guess I should have asked, where do y'all live? What towns are you currently living? You said Windsor?
Windsor.
Avon? Avon?
Farmington.
Canton.
Hartford?
Canton.
Windsor?
We live in Avon.
West Hartford?
Simsbury.
Simsbury? Simsbury?
Yeah, well, it's
West Hartford?
on Lovely, but
Windsor?
it's on the mountain on
Avon.
Lovely.
And- Okay.
265.
So,
Farmington.
we have sort of the West Hartford, Farmington Valley
Farmington
kinda
Valley.
covered here with a little bit of Windsor and Canton there, that's good. Okay, so, any other names that come to mind when you think of that environment you could choose to live in, that it's not an active adult, 55 plus, or maintenance-free living, but is not a nursing home or assisted living? Any other names come to mind?
There's a really nice one in, Westbrook that I visited.
Westbrook?
In Westbrook, it's gorgeous,
Really?
and, yeah.
Westbrook. Yeah, okay.
Oh, there's something in Westport, there is something in Westport.
Right, well, you wanna pay taxes, move to Westport.
Actually, that's where my son lives.
Doncaster's another one, yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah.
talking about in-house care, that people are staff that's there all the time, or place that you would go to live, and if you need something, someone comes in to provide it?
No, I'm talking about places like Doncaster, Avery Heights,
So
Macaulay.
explain how that
So
answers
that's
my
the type
question.
of environment where
There's one on Route 6, there's one on Route 6.
the old Village Gate now, or the.
Village Gate.
Yeah,
But
right,
that's,
you've heard of
isn't
that.
that assisted living?
They're more on assisted living, so, yeah,
Oh, are they?
yeah.
But there's a new one on Route 6 that
Really?
is,
That's
I
an
think it's
Atria
55
product, yeah.
and.
No, that's actually assisted living as well.
It is?
Yeah.
There's a brand new
The
one?
brand new one, yeah.
What is the name of the one in Westport though? 'Cause it's about maybe 5 years old now. and
There's so
it's-
many down there, I'm not
yeah,
sure,
it's,
and
and this is where you don't have to, it's located where you don't have to drive a car anyplace. You can walk and
Right.
get your groceries,
Yeah.
you can walk and
Right.
your doctors, and it's
Correct.
contained.
Right.
That's all I know.
The
I
golf
don't-
cart places down south?
Yeah, there you go.
The golf cart places down
Yeah,
south,
yeah,
you get a ride to the golf cart, you go over to
I
the
have,
golf cart.
well, that's the village, that whole,
Yeah.
wish we had something like that up here.
Do you really?
Now that to me is living.
So how many, that's a curious, in
The
fact,
villages are a different
Oh,
world.
but
my
let's
God.
I
just
wish
say-
I could go down there.
but let's
Oh
just
my
say
God.
a place like that, that had,
Dancing all the
fun,
time.
activities,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know.
that would be great.
And your
without
little
all
cars
the
going
village-
around,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you can get, you're independent, but you
Games,
have
they
lots
sing.
of support groups.
Right.
I would,
What's one
definitely.
in Southbury?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, but, I don't know.
there is one in Southbury,
Yeah.
it's called.
We don't have villages here though.
No.
No.
But how many of you think you would actually, if there was a villages type environment, how many of you would actually really consider that?
Think about it, I would
I would
think
think
about
about
it.
it.
Think about it.
How about your friends or family members?
The thing that bothers me about all of these kinds of communities is that the residents are so isolated by age.
Yes.
What does that mean?
It
Yeah,
means
what does
that
that
almost
We like
everybody is
like I love children.
over
I'd
50,
like to
there are
have.
no young families, there are no
Yeah.
children, there are no teens.
Oh, but they come, grandchildren come.
Yeah, they come in and out, but.
In the village, there's
they're
always,
not
Yeah,
part
and
of their
they,
normal
and they
life.
participate.
So you would like the
They participate in
multi-generational
the
experience,
activities.
right?
Yes, I would too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the kids do.
but you're still, as you get older, you feel a little differently about that, I think. I
Yeah.
mean, it's nice to see them, but you don't want
Yeah,
the
yeah.
loud
Let 'em
music.
go home, right?
I don't want, like in Simsbury, when I had my neighbor that had the teenager. My neighbor had the teenager who had the
Right.
skateboard thing
Right,
going
right, right,
every
right,
night.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I could never eat on my deck.
Right.
Shroom,
Yeah.
that thing going.
I know, I used to live in a house that had, really close neighbors, and the kids next door were fantastic. But they were out there, like most teenagers, like we were at one time, playing basketball nonstop, and all I'd hear was thump, thump, ka-ching, right? You know, it's over it. It's like torture.
That's the way I felt about this.
Yeah, right.
It's not just torture though, it's an opportunity.
I love
Yeah, I guess.
How do you keep up with what's going on in the world?
Yeah.
Sure,
And
yeah,
what
yeah.
the next generation
Yeah.
is thinking.
That's
You
a
have
very good
contact
point.
with them.
Well, you do have contact if you
Right.
have family.
Okay, so that's great. So we have a good sort of foundation for our conversation. So now what we're going to talk about is logos, company logos, okay? So when you look at those logos that are up there, those are companies, everybody familiar with all those companies?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So when I say the word, or you see the Starbucks logo, what comes to mind?
Coffee.
What's
Or
that,
hot
Tommy?
chocolate.
Coffee.
In my case, hot
Expensive
chocolate.
Expensive coffee, right?
Overpriced.
Yeah, overpriced.
Overpriced coffee.
Okay.
But guess what, they got me.
They got it.
But like I
So
said,
should, maybe
the-
addiction comes to mind when you see that, right? Yeah.
I like their soy mist stuff.
Yeah.
But I like their hot chocolate, cause I don't drink coffee.
There you go.
Yeah.
How about Dunkin' Donuts when you see that?
That's, to me, that's the best
Fat
coffee.
food.
It is.
Fast food, that's
Fast
it.
food.
Dun-
It is.
Yuck.
They're trying to change their image, but I
Yeah.
still think of donuts.
Yeah.
And cheaper than Starbucks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Disney, when you think Disney, what do you think?
Oh, fun time.
When you see that logo?
Fun time.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Family time.
Family times.
Cartoons.
And Marriott, when you see that Marriott logo, what does it mean to you?
Vacation.
Vacation. Above my head.
High-end, not high-end, but.
Above your head, meaning
Too expensive.
too expensive, interesting.
Oh, really?
Well, it
Yeah,
depends on
it is.
which
They-
hotel you
no,
go
yeah,
to. They
yeah.
have several different
And they have discounts
varieties, so,
depending on what it is, so, yeah, I think of safety or cleanliness
You
or
do?
honor, in other words, their reputation
Right.
is, their reputation is very good.
Very good. So that's a key
Very
phrase that you just described, is the word
Would you
reputation.
like to
Yeah,
Disney?
very nice.
Disney, yes, sir.
The best at what they do.
The best at what they do.
That's
Absolutely.
right,
It
that's
doesn't
right.
matter what it is they're doing,
Right,
it's the best.
right. Okay.
It's true.
Paul, how about you? Anything come to mind, buddy?
Well, I like Starbucks coffee, but of course it is strong. I
Yeah,
certainly
it's strong.
recognize Disney. Marriott, I don't really have an opinion for that. Dunkin' Donuts, yeah, as I said, fat food.
Constance, anything come to mind when you look at those logos?
They all seem like we all know about them and a little bit high end.
Yeah, right,
Apple,
yeah.
BMW, Disney, and Starbucks. I don't drink coffee, so I don't go to Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks, so I don't know.
I don't think, would anybody think of Dunkin' Donuts as
Not
high
high
end?
end.
No.
No,
I think it
not
is
really.
on
And
par.
that is Marriott.
They're
Marriott's not
trying.
high-end.
Yeah.
They're trying.
Marriott is
Well,
not
Marriott
high-end.
how many people have experience with Marriott properties? Right, so they're pretty much from
Right.
end to end, right?
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
real high end and not so high
It's
end.
like high-end, it's just like
Okay,
middle
middle of the road?
Yeah.
They do have some Marriotts down south though that are right affiliated next door to the Ritz-Carlton.
Oh, yeah.
Part of it.
Right,
And so
Okay.
that's your high end.
Right.
And even in Hartford, the Marriott in Hartford for business.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've never been there, but it's business related,
Yeah,
that's
it's a
high
beautiful
end,
property,
that's
right?
high
Yeah,
end.
it is.
Well, they also manage properties, as I recall, they manage several properties in Hilton Head
Yep,
Right.
as a realtor, real estate agent.
yep, yep.
Very
So
good.
what's
That's-
interesting
I know
about
that.
what.
Timeshare too, I know that.
Timeshares, yeah.
Yes, in Hilton
So what's
Head.
interesting about what you're describing, and what we in the marketing business try to understand about customers and prospects, and is this idea or this notion that, you know, when somebody sees a logo, or as we call it, the technical term of brand identity, you respond, right, with an immediate reaction if you've had experience with that brand.
Mhm.
Right, so there's a sort of a visceral, immediate emotional response, right? So, Constance B, you said too expensive when you heard Marriott, right? And you all sort of have some kind of connection. How many people have actually had first-hand direct experience with Starbucks? Okay, so you've had their coffee. Dunkin' Donuts. How many people have first-hand experience with Disney? Okay. How many people have had first-hand experience with Marriott? BMW. Driven a BMW, sat in a BMW, been
Oh,
driven
yeah,
around in a
yeah,
BMW?
yeah, yeah.
Not necessarily owned.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
And
think
Apple.
of them as, Apple, yeah,
Okay,
I have
great.
a laptop.
Okay, so you've had an experience with the product, right, the device, and therefore when you see the logo, it creates an immediate sort of connection between the product you've experienced and the brand identity that you
Yeah.
see up there, right? So when it comes to retirement communities, a lot of times you've not had that experience. I could tell from just our discussion, even the names you brought up, that you may not have had a direct experience with those brands. So I'm going to go through the list that I heard you tell me about. So Doncaster. How many people have had an experience, or a friend that had an experience with the Doncaster brand? Positive?
Yes.
Mhm.
But
There was a theft
Okay.
there.
Mhm.
My elderly friend moved there.
What's
and,
elderly?
she was like 89.
Okay.
And she immediately had her beautiful diamond ring stolen. She had,
How long ago was this?
This was about 10 years ago.
Okay.
She had, antique spoons. They knew what they went in for, and they took only the best.
That's sad.
But okay, so
So
but most of you have had a very positive experience with
Yes.
Doncaster.
But
Okay.
she loved it.
She loved it.
there.
How about Seabury? I heard you. Anybody have any direct
No.
connection with Seabury? I heard you mention Seabury.
Yeah.
Only through friends.
Yeah.
Through friends.
Yeah.
And what was their response?
Very positive.
Yeah.
One family, of course, friends of ours, just moved in here about a month ago.
Oh yeah.
Other close friends have been in there for about 8 or 10 months, and they really like it.
Nice.
Now, of course, they went in there with some physical problems, and yet they really enjoy it.
Good. Are they living independently at Seabury?
Yes.
Yeah, they're not in assisted living.
No.
I didn't think that most of these retirement communities that have the continuing care or whatever take you if you have health issues. I thought they were pretty selective from things people have told me, especially Seabury, because I know a woman who
Yeah.
works there.
Right.
And she said if you have health issues, they pretty much don't want you because obviously they know you're gonna cost them money. And
Yeah.
I don't know if that's.
That's not completely true.
That's not completely true. No,
No.
because that's kind of what she had said is, we
Yeah.
don't want somebody that's coming in and they start at this rate or whatever, and before you know it, they're in the highest level of care.
Seabury?
Yeah.
I've been to Seabury several times because, they have the ALF program there, which is the adult learning program.
Yeah.
So I've been to a number of the demonstrations and the classes that are there.
And what was your first-hand experience?
And they have different levels. They do have independent cottage places where a number of people live, and they have apartment-like places where people who don't have any great need live, and they also have a nurse on duty all the time, and they have assistance for people who do have medical issues.
Right.
Just
I
like
don't know if it's a sliding rate, because I don't know anything about that.
Well, what was your experience with that?
It's always clean.
Mhm.
It's always well-staffed. The staff are always very helpful and polite. The facilities give you some options. There's a gym, there's a swimming pool, there's a dining room.
Yeah,
There are
they're
programs for the residents. But the thing that bothers me the most when I go there is the fact that I'm usually the youngest person in the room. I'm 71. And I just don't like that kind of isolation where the only people that you talk to all day long, except for the staff, are old people.
Right.
Yeah.
You lose different views of the world,
Well,
lose different experiences.
let me ask you something, do you think those people don't ever leave that campus? I mean, they get in their cars, they go out and they drive, and they go to see friends, or they go out to dinner. I mean, it's not like they never leave, right?
I don't think that many of them leave often. I don't know, because I don't know the people who live there well yet.
Yeah.
But I don't get the impression that a lot of people have cars, first of all.
Yeah.
Well,
And
isn't that why
why
they're there?
They do.
Isn't that why they're there?
And that's why they're there, because they need
Well,
some assistance,
well-
or they can't take
Yeah.
care of the house anymore, or whatever the reason is. But as I said, it's very isolating, I
Well,
think.
let me
Now,
just,
McLean's has you actually can buy a house, you have a car,
Yeah.
and then they have all the way to a nursing home facility. And
Right.
my experience there, when my mother had a horrible stroke and she was in the rehab, and then of course I lived very close to there, and I would jog around there, run around there all the time. They were out talking, interacting, and there was usually grandchildren around too. So, but they were different stages. Some had cars and got out, some didn't.
Well, let's take a moment,
And it's where you are yourself.
Correct. This is not why we're here specifically, and it is and it isn't, and I'll get to that in a moment, but I'm compelled to now, just because you're all here, to help dispel some rumors and give you some basic knowledge that you can do with what you want. I've been in the senior living sales and marketing business for 25 years. My first client was Seabury in 1985, actually. And so there are a group of retirement communities in this area that fall into the category, as you mentioned, of continuing care retirement communities. The care word is confusing. Many of them have rebranded themselves and call themselves life plan communities right now. The bottom line is Doncaster, Avery Heights, Seabury, Macaulay, McLean, the big ones, right? When you move into an apartment or a cottage or a home there, you're 100% independent. You know, you can come and go as you please and do whatever you want. And at McLean, for instance, they have dwellings and homes that are not anywhere near the assisted living areas. Same thing with Seabury, as you've experienced. Doncaster is planning some of that. Macaulay is planning some of that. So you have 100% independence. What you guys have mostly experienced is you've been in an area on that campus where the older, unhealthy people are, right? And it's not even fair to just say older. There are unhealthy 71-year-olds living there for the purposes of needing that attention to their care. As Paul said, your neighbors or friends moved in because they couldn't really stay at home anymore. But just to dispel the rumor, you know, there's a very different relationship between the customer living independently in a retirement community versus somebody living in assisted living or memory care, for instance, that needs that additional support. The idea behind the continuing care campuses are you're moving onto a campus environment where if you need additional care, it's there for you. If you don't ever need it, you don't touch it. It's security. Right. So, that's a good transition point. The company we're here to talk about, which nobody mentioned, is Covenant Retirement Communities. Have you anybody heard?
I've never heard of it.
No?
Except on the advertisement.
I think it was right on.
So how many of you have actually received marketing materials or seen advertising from Doncaster, Seabury?
Yes.
Are you all on their mailing list? Do you get their mail? Do you see their ads? You don't get anything?
I just see it in the West Hartford papers, their advertisements, but I don't.
And you probably go,
Exactly.
you know, and then
Not ready.
you're not ready yet. Exactly. Nobody in here is ready for that care-based environment, right? But
it's too expensive. It's very expensive.
That's another rumor.
That is a
that's
rumor.
another rumor.
That is a rumor.
Yeah, that is a rumor. Yeah, you'd be surprised. In a side-by-side comparison, they're not as expensive as you think.
Really?
Yeah, no, it's not true.
Is Covenant based specifically in Connecticut, or is it
No,
branched
Covenant-
out to Massachusetts, Rhode Island?
Covenant is a nationwide community. The campus that in Connecticut is in Cromwell, Covenant Village of Cromwell. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cromwell does.
Right over the Berlin border in Cromwell.
Yep.
Right? Anybody have friends that have ever been there? They're beautiful campus. Their cottages are spectacular. They've got a beautiful man-made lake and areas where you can walk around and lots of features. They're actually going to be expanding and adding some brand new residences there soon. So keep an eye out for that. I think you'll enjoy seeing what's coming there. When you think of Cromwell, I mean, you guys are all sort of, you know, the Canton, West Hartford. When you think of the town of Cromwell, what do you think of?
Congestion.
Cromwell, really?
Yeah. Across the river, that's all I think of.
It's not.
It's not across the
Oh,
river.
no. Yeah, I
No,
know.
yeah.
It's
Wait,
closer to the
too
shore.
far? Where are you standing? We're close to the shoreline, yeah.
It's really close to the shore.
Very,
I
right
like
down
that.
Route 9, yeah, right.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
it's down.
9, it's east of the river.
Yeah, it's east.
And it's got great.
No, it's still west of the river.
It's
Oh,
west.
is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was
Past Rocky Hill.
I thought it was east of the river, I
Right.
really
Just
did.
past Rocky
Right.
Hill.
They have great
Oh, it's
shopping
not
places
bad.
there.
Yeah,
Nowhere near any of my children.
right.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily have friends or family down
My
in
son
that
lives
side.
in Cromwell and he's very happy there, but he's raising young children
Yeah.
and the schools are great and
Right. Okay.
That's good, though, that's good.
Nobody ever played Cromwell when they had sports when they were younger or anything like that?
No.
None of the kids or grandkids
I wasn't
ever?
here at that time.
No, yeah, right, okay.
No, we've gone to the golf tournament
Yep.
out there.
Yep.
Right,
That's right.
Right.
oh, I might have played golf there, I might have
Right.
played golf there.
Yeah,
Actually, I did.
So what we're here to really talk about now, after all this pre-conversation, is Covenant Retirement Communities, is contemplating, modifying the name of their business to reflect the, new kind of, environment that they're building and the services they're providing. So when you see those three words up there, obviously, I mean, tell me what comes to mind.
Old folks home.
Old folks home.
Well, is there a religious affiliation?
Right, that's
I
what
don't know,
I'm
you tell me, is there?
Well, it sounds, they.
I'm asking a question.
Yeah, I know, I'm just curious
It
if you
sounds
know.
like
That's
it.
what it,
Yeah.
I think it's some type of religious basis there,
And why do you think that?
because of covenant, I think
What is
covenant.
covenant?
It
Contract.
reminds me of an insurance company.
Okay.
Yeah.
You too? Insurance companies?
Yeah, call covenant that I love that name.
Really? Yeah, for you?
Oh, yeah, they're so
The
cool.
Tom
Then-
Hanks could be in a movie, the division, you know, Da Vinci Code.
Oh, the covenant? Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right. No, that just, that's kind of, I like that covenant, I do.
So do you know,
I like
everybody
that.
know what the word, if you know what the word, you talked about insurance, a covenant, right?
Is a contract.
Contract, or it's an agreement between
Yeah.
us, right?
Right.
So in a way, that could play very positively into,
And usually it's binding on one side more so than the
Right.
other, the
Yeah.
covenant.
not necessarily.
Isn't it?
No, I think a covenant is.
Religious-wise it is.
Religious-wise, all right. So,
Yeah.
so now, let me ask you, this, I'm gonna show you their
In other words,
current.
he won't change his mind.
I'm gonna show you the current, but yeah, exactly.
He's younger than you.
I'm gonna show you their current logo, and then we're gonna talk about, some new names and some new logos. So that's their current logo.
Mhm.
Yeah, right there.
Ah,
Yeah.
right.
It is religious.
Okay.
Very.
So, I know that the things
And
you
that
never
look-
talk about
I've
are.
seen that, I have seen that.
You have seen that?
I have, I haven't
Yeah.
seen it.
So how many of you in this room would share with us, the group, how religious are you per se? You're religious? Would you call yourself religious?
I'm a Eucharistic minister.
You're a Eucharistic minister, okay.
I'm not religious.
You're not religious either.
I am.
I should be religious, but I
Are anybody else?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
I,
Oh, yeah.
Very
very,
much.
very,
Yeah, I'm
very.
not-
Would it be okay for me to ask you which faith you associate with?
Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. In other
Mormons.
words, Mormons.
Yes,
no.
okay.
Oh, in Farmington, you go to.
You grew up in,
Gorgeous.
Simsbury?
No,
Oh.
no, I actually was born in Cincinnati, Ohio, but I
Oh.
moved here many years ago, maybe 50 years ago.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Did you know the McKinley families?
Yes, very well.
Doug?
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, I
Adore
used to
that
work for
family.
Doug.
Well, then you, okay, the advertisement, yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
marvelous. I've been to their house
Yeah,
many
yeah,
times,
yeah, yeah.
long time ago.
Yeah, there you go, yeah. Doug's a
Great
nice man.
family,
Yeah,
great
family,
family.
yeah.
I've been in Simsbury, 60 years.
Did you know the McKinleys as well?
What's that?
Did you know Doug McKinley and his family?
No.
No, didn't know them?
Or Lee Tobler, maybe?
So
Lee
you're
Tobler?
Mormon.
Yes, yeah.
Who else?
I was raised Roman Catholic, and while I'm not actively practicing, that training sticks when you kind
Yeah.
of.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Still
I was
Catholic.
raised
Oh, yeah.
Catholic,
But I'm
as
far from religious as you can get.
Yeah, okay.
Congregational?
Congregational, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which one?
Well, I'm not certain how to say this. I mean,
Yeah.
First Church of Christ Simsbury
Oh, yeah.
Congregation.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Oh,
Prior to
nice.
that, we were.
It's a beautiful
United-
church, by the way.
It
That
was
is
Pardon
a
me?
beautiful
It's a beautiful church.
Yeah, I used to be president.
Oh, no kidding?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
But prior to that, I was United Church of Canada, UCC. So the initials are the same, and the two churches have basically sort of come together like this.
Mhm. Anybody else have any they want to share?
Catholic.
Catholic? Yeah.
Well, I was raised a Catholic, I'm nuns and priests in the family, but I also have Jewish side in Europe, Israel. So
Nice.
I'm
Good.
kind of a.
So does anybody know anything about the Covenant Church? Are you familiar with it?
No.
No familiarity?
No.
Any
No.
friends that are part of the Covenant Church or attend Covenant Church? No? So let's go back to the identity. When you see that name and you see that logo, what comes to mind?
Christian.
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 Christian, good. Christian.
Definitely.
Okay, good. And is Christian in your minds, is that a positive or a negative as it pertains to a retirement community environment?
Positive.
So it's a very positive.
I
Not
actually like
necessarily.
that, I like that, I just think it's the blue and everything, I just like it.
Does it make you,
But it's exclusive.
Yeah,
well,
I-
does
yeah.
it? Does it make you feel like you have to be Christian to live there?
Yes,
Why is that
definitely.
so? No?
Because if I were
You don't feel that way?
No, I have an aunt that, I was raised Catholic, and I have an aunt that's staying at the Jewish Healthcare Center here
Yep.
in West Hartford,
Yeah.
and clearly, doesn't make any difference what religion you are, and that's the same impression.
Right.
Well, that's
Oh,
true.
no.
We were raised Catholic too, and my husband was at the, Hebrew home, and that's actually where he died several years ago. And it didn't make any difference as far of, religion, but when he was first going there, I said, oh, 'cause I know they have kosher and this and that he would not like. Didn't turn out to be that way, but it was the first thing we thought of, and so,
Right.
But in
again,
their logo, do they have the Star of David?
honestly, I don't remember.
You
But
know-
that is to me very Christian.
Me
I mean,
too,
and I,
yeah.
my father was Jewish, my father was Jewish, my mother was Catholic, we were,
Right.
raised Catholic.
That's a lot of guilt.
Tell me about it.
Oh, God,
My aunt
well
has a cross in
said,
her
well
room.
said.
It's
Oh, that's
a-
so good.
How does that line go? The Catholics are born with it, the Jews learn it, or something like
I
that?
tell you, I got it from both sides.
Yeah.
Can I just tell you a funny story? My son did his DNA, and he, of course, found out because, being my son, he is now a quarter, Ashkenazi Jewish. He said, when's my bar mitzvah?
Yeah.
I said, sometime after your birthday.
So,
There are so many denominations of Christians.
Yeah.
Right.
That it would make me leery because they span a very wide gamut.
leery,
And
when you say leery, what do you mean by that?
I mean, I would, if I had 5 places on my list, I would move that to the bottom.
Really?
And I would investigate. I wouldn't necessarily dismiss it altogether. But I would certainly take a second and a third look at it.
But if you learned after the fact that, upon further investigation, that just because it's a Christian organization or let me say it this way, if you learned that it's a Christian organization and the foundation of its principles are based on the foundation of Christianity and the Covenant Church, but you didn't have to be a Christian or Covenant to live there, would that give you comfort and support? Would you feel positive about the fact that it's owned and managed by,
I would still have doubts,
I would
because
too.
granted, you can certainly go any place, and you can not have to follow a particular faith if you do go there. However, the tenets that people have in different faiths, if you agree with them, hooray, but there's a lot that's under the surface with a faith also.
So how many other people share Jane's views?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
No.
I don't care if it's a Star of David or if it's a Christian star. I would go and investigate it, and based on what I see about it, I would.
Then you'd make your
Oh,
decision.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
There's fantastic Jewish places and fantastic Christian places, and that doesn't stop me in any way because, I mean, there's.
And Constance H., you're clearly a woman of the cloth, is that the fair way to say it?
Yes.
So, how do you react to everything we're describing?
I agree with that woman.
With Jackie? Yeah.
I can't be there because I can't see you. I have to sit over here on the
Okay.
line. I'm not trying to be ostracized.
No, it's perfect, I got a straight line right to you, yeah.
I would be with her, I would investigate. I like the place
Yeah.
I went, I would investigate.
Yeah.
I think.
You too?
I think
I
that's
would-
the key thing, investigate, see
I think
what's
that's
there.
fair, that's the one
I think
fair.
the other, from my perspective, I mean, if you're living in what's referred to as a Christian community, as has been said, it's a very broad spectrum.
Right.
But there's an underlying perception that people with that outlook are probably pretty good neighbors.
Right.
My
Plus,
perspective.
I mean, you don't necessarily have to participate in every single
Right.
thing that goes on.
Exactly.
It's a place for you to
Being
live.
Right.
You make your
Well,
own
how many
choice.
how many
Why
people?
not have a more generic,
Yeah.
Well,
like
let me-
a heart?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask,
St.
let me
Francis
ask you
has a
this though.
heart.
How many people have been to a YMCA or a YWCA?
Yes.
Well, you know what the
Right.
Right.
Young Men's Christian Association, right? And so, if there was a cross in the YWCA or the YMCA, you might feel differently than the 4 letters that make up the abbreviation, right?
Yeah.
But you didn't not go to the YMCA because it was Christian, right?
No, no.
Would you go to a program at the what's that?
When I was a kid,
the Catholic Church did not want you going to the
Right.
YMCA.
Yeah.
Oh, for
Or
heaven's sake.
YWCA.
Yeah, those were the old days.
Because they were Protestant.
I went to a
And
Catholic junior
thank
high
God
school
that's
and.
There's a song about that.
That's right.
And there's a movie
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yes, I never heard that.
Don't wanna put the
Never.
emphasis
Well,
on
when we
there.
talked about everybody's religion,
Yeah.
and I don't know for sure, but I don't think anybody said they were Jewish, and y'all might be, I don't know.
You said you were part, right?
Well, I mean,
It's
no,
in
I
my-
said I was part
it's-
Jewish,
it's-
but,
it's
you know,
in
I'm
my
Catholic,
family.
but my father
My
was
father's
Jewish.
side.
But there's nobody here that, as far as we can tell for sure, that is Jewish. So therefore, we're not really giving that cross and that Christian part of it a good representation, because I have some very good Jewish friends who would no more go there because there was a cross, even if it was the best place on God's green earth.
Right,
And they would not go there because of that cross.
Right.
And, you know, I mean, I don't even know why they like me, but they do.
Yeah,
But it's, you know, that's how I feel about it, and I
Yeah.
mean, I have both, so
Right,
it
right,
doesn't,
right.
you know, I'm very much open to both
Yeah.
sides.
Okay.
But I do believe that would stop
Okay,
a
let's,
lot of my Jewish
let's
friends.
do this, let's separate the name from the cross piece for a moment, okay? So, let's talk about that name, Covenant Retirement Communities, right? Clearly, it says what they do.
Right.
They're in the retirement community business, and they're, connected with Covenant. If you were to see that name, would that change your idea? No?
No.
It would
No,
mine, it
It's
would
still,
mine too.
it's still
Well,
religious
covenant
covenant.
living.
Because of the word covenant?
Yes.
Mhm.
Without,
But
That's
without
how I
the
see
cross,
it.
it doesn't
Without the
say
logo.
as much about what religion.
without the logo.
Without the logo right now, yes. So that, what I'm trying to understand is, if I take off the retirement community, and I add in living, does it, minus the Christian piece, does it give you a broader appreciation for what they
Yes.
might do?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Not
that
for
could
me.
your logo be a
The
house.
key word is covenant.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what you see first.
Yeah, and that's
In
a
my
covenant.
mind, that's what hits me first, and it has undertones of, religion. And
Our
you
commitment.
would have to be very sure, I mean, we're all talking about, yes, you want
I
to
think
investigate and
it
see what it's
does.
like. But can you see, if you go for a tour, a 2-hour tour,
They only show you what
can
they
you
want you to
see
see.
deep into your neighbors' hearts and find out what kind of people they are? Now, it sometimes, is important. If you're gonna live in one of these communities, you're not going there for 2 weeks. You're gonna be there for, let's just say, 10 years.
Right.
And do you want to be in a place that concentrates on that particular religion, whether they try to convert you or not? Would you rather be somewhere where, let's say, Boston Red Sox living,
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
where I'd like to go there.
Right, right.
That's
How many
because you're a
people?
Red Sox.
So that,
yeah. Let me go back
Yeah,
to
go ahead.
what he was talking
Sure,
about.
yeah.
Your goal is to get people to go
Yes,
and see it.
yes,
This, for me, doesn't turn me off as much as the cross does.
okay,
So this wouldn't go directly in the no pile.
right,
If I was looking at 12 retirement communities, it wouldn't go in the no pile.
okay,
Would I go for the tour? Don't know.
yep.
Okay, but
You'd have to see more.
that's what you want. You
Right.
want to give me the tour, you don't want me to throw you away.
Yeah, I don't want you
as
to
I
say
see
no
it.
right away, right.
Yeah.
I think if you started with this rather than the original, with the cross, it'd be a different, people have a different outlook of seeing the covenant
Yeah,
living there
because
right now.
he's telling you, wherever you go to look at retirement communities, you're gonna be looking for something that fits what you think you bring with you.
Yeah, you wanna be able to connect to that,
Yeah,
right,
but
right.
first you've gotta get there. If you don't go there, you'll never really know.
How many people have ever been a member of, some type of organization, whether it's a social organization like, you know, the Lions Club or,
Country club.
country clubs or
Freemasons.
Masonry. Anybody ever been a member of a club?
Oh, yeah, I still am.
What's that?
Kiwanis.
Kiwanis. There's another good one.
But we're service organizations,
Right.
okay,
Right,
not
right,
social
right.
organizations.
Right. But what if that said Kiwanis Living and they got into the business?
Wouldn't bother me at all, knowing what the Kiwanis Club's about.
Right. But you understand what the Kiwanis Club is about. Yeah.
It's
And
a
Lions
Masonic.
too. Lions
Lions
are,
are Masonic.
you know,
Similar.
civic
Yeah.
bands,
Yeah. And Joseph brought up an interesting topic. He said they try to convert you. How many people in this room, in their lifetime, have been someone has tried to convert your religion. Have any of you ever?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Were you born a Mormon?
No.
Or so you became a Mormon?
Yes.
Later in life? Or when you were a child?
No, I was actually an adult.
Okay.
My brother and his wife at Ball State University joined.
Okay.
And from that, I got interested in investigating.
Okay, interesting. Okay.
I have a lady friend, and the way you're talking about the Jewish people, she's Jewish, not Catholic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good match.
Today, it doesn't make that much difference. Now,
Absolutely.
10 years, now you go back 10 years ago,
Yeah. Yeah.
there was a big change.
Right.
But today,
The thing in the home type thing, and I don't know, I mean, again, the Jewish and the Catholic or the Christian, even in the dining room, just think of the dietary things that, you know.
If it's kosher.
If it's kosher.
If it's not.
And if they don't have kosher, if it's not available, if, you know, many times you'll see all of our Christian holidays are whatever. You rarely see, not rarely, but you don't see as much about Passover and Hanukkah and those holidays are not the food-wise and everything. I mean, it's, you know, like all my my Jewish friends, of course, they go to the movies and have Chinese on Christmas or whatever they do. You know, that's what they really do. They really do that. But I mean,
They
if
really
you're in,
do.
yeah, if you're in I was gonna say a home, a living environment that is mostly Christians,
Right.
they're gonna feel
Right.
that's missing. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure, even with
Okay.
the change in the name,
Yeah.
if you're gonna get as many. I mean, I do
Right.
know from the Macaulay there are Jewish people there,
Right.
but I would say Macaulay is like 98% Christians.
So if we were to take.
I just wanna add, this is kind of a sidebar, but I had one of my best friends in Simsbury was Jewish. And, one Christmas Eve was the beginning of Hanukkah. So they came over with their presents and the candle, and we did the Hanukkah thing, and then we went to the tree and we opened presents. It was the most wonderful experience I've ever experienced in my life for both families.
Right.
And we just dearly, I broke my heart when they moved to Chicago.
Right.
It just broke my
But
heart.
what I hear you saying, and I want to be clear on this. The word, if I take covenant, park that to the side, and then I take retirement communities versus living. When you think about retirement communities as a positive or a negative, juxtaposed against something that's living. So let's use your Kiwanis example. If it was Kiwanis retirement communities or Kiwanis living, would one connect with you versus the other?
Not me, I wouldn't
Not
make any
really.
difference.
I think living is an improvement.
You
Yeah.
think
I
it's
think
an
it's an
improvement?
improvement. Absolutely.
Well, you know, I think
Yeah.
a lot of us look at it and say, gee, no, I'm not really certain I'm ready for retirement.
Right.
Okay, that connotes or denotes, I'm starting over the other side of the hill.
Right.
I don't really wanna get there.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
don't wanna
living is
ever get
fine,
there.
because
Yeah.
yay for living.
Right.
But the retirement aspects, you know, I've
Yeah.
reached the peak and I'm going down the other
Right.
side. So
Okay.
if we had an
Even if you're not
opportunity-
necessarily in a full-time job anymore,
That's
right?
right, that's right, that's
Yeah.
right.
Right, my
Okay.
girlfriend asked me how I could stand living in a 55 and over community. She said, people just go there to die.
No.
They're old,
Well,
and
she's
they start
confused.
dying.
She's confused.
And,
go
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
She's
So
really
for her,
confused.
the living would be
Better.
better.
Yeah.
And how about this little nuance? Now, remember I said earlier it's going to be sort of like the eye test, which one's clearer, which one's not clear, right? How about this little nuance change, covenant life?
Sounds like insurance.
Sounds like insurance.
It does.
It does?
Yeah, there probably is a covenant life insurance
Right,
company.
yeah, I think there is.
Yeah.
So much like an insurance company?
Yeah.
Definitely,
Yeah.
I think it quite connotes it's, a retire,
No,
Yeah.
nothing.
a living establishment.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
You cracked me up when you said insurance.
Yeah. Even though in some ways, you know, the decision to move into a retirement community like that is, you know,
A life
insurance.
Right, that's true.
Would that be negative or positive? No, Tom is shaking his head. No.
How old are your expected, movers? See, some people go there because they wanna get out of their house, have perhaps a smaller area, but perhaps not.
Right.
But it's like an apartment. You have no responsibilities for anything other than
Yeah.
cleaning up after yourself when you leave.
That's it.
And that's it.
Right.
Nothing else matters.
Right.
You vacuum your own floor, that's fine. The hallways, everything else are clean.
Right.
The Christmas decorations go up.
Right.
Whatever holidays decorations might go up. You don't have to do anything other than live a life as if you just got out of college.
Right.
And you had nothing to worry about.
Right. Those were good times, weren't they?
Other than what
They
do I
were.
do after work, or what do I do tomorrow, or when am I
Right.
going on vacation or something like that.
Yeah.
Very different, and if you think you're going there to die, then
Yeah.
that's,
So and let's go back to that Villages comment. If I told you there was a community out there where you could live a similar type of life as that either college or post-college experience, meaning it's virtually maintenance-free and it's somewhat carefree in what you get to do what you want to do, when you want to do it, where you want to do it, with whom you want to do it, come and go as you please, and not have to worry about the encumbrances and the associated costs with being in a dwelling like your home or a condo. Is that appealing?
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
Right.
That post-college, metaphor is
because
a
then
really
you're just
good
a
one.
renter. You're a
But,
renter, that's
yeah.
all you are, you have no responsibility.
Yeah.
You're a renter, you come
Yeah.
and go as you please.
Right.
Do what you want, if you wanna stop your meal, you go down to who's ever, if you're the guy in charge.
Yep.
Hey, we're going away for 3 weeks, collect our mail somewhere so it
Yeah.
doesn't pile up.
Would that be appealing to you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The ability to do that, would that be appealing to you at this age?
Yeah,
And if you provide
absolutely.
parking for when friends come to visit.
Yep.
And that's easy, they can go over on
Right.
that side of the building.
Right.
If they don't, and you need a
Pass,
concierge is the
something.
wrong word,
Mhm.
but someone to say, oh, you park over here, you park
Right.
over there.
Right.
The thing that you need to add to that you do have in college or right after college, is options for entertainment.
Right.
Can you walk to a movie theater nearby? Can you get a tram to the theater? Is there a baseball field nearby where you can go to games?
Or you have a bus that does that.
What if there was-
And I
Or you have
volunteer at the Bush Light.
transportation, yeah.
And all the retirement community, not all, retirement communities, you'll see as you're waiting for people to come in, a
Bus.
small bus, bigger than a school bus,
Yeah,
and
okay.
much more
Yeah,
comfortable, I'm
right.
sure.
Right.
Pulls up and
see
anywhere
that.
from 20 to 50 people get out of the bus, and they all come in.
Or dollar
That's the
riding,
Bush
too.
Light. I'm sure you could go see the yard goats that way.
Right.
I would suspect.
Yes.
Yes,
You
you
know,
can.
and anything else that goes.
Right.
Some have gambling trips.
Right.
You know, it won't have to go as far now, it only have to go up to Springfield.
Yeah, I know,
Or
or
East
South
Windsor.
Windsor or
At
whatever,
your point,
yeah.
you're still going to Mohegan Suns or Foxwoods, so you're not
Yeah.
gonna give up,
Right. Right.
what
And
you're
if you were able to get some of those, I'm gonna call them amenities, you know, if there was a small movie theater or a cafe, or a little bistro on campus, wouldn't that make it even that much easier?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, if you could walk out your door and, go, I don't know,
Get your
50
golf
yards
cart, go
down.
3 blocks and there's Starbucks waiting.
Right. Or there was
Then you
a
never
little
leave.
luncheonette or
Well,
a
yeah,
little
I mean,
diner.
Something like the village pub would be really neat.
Right,
That'd be really great.
right, exactly.
That'd be an attraction, and I think that would be very positive.
And it would be a place for you to invite people in, and you wouldn't have to
Yeah.
do the preparing.
Right.
Right. And it would be like the old TV show Cheers, right? Everybody would know your name, cause it would be your place, and you're right there.
And
You
then you'd
wouldn't
have
have the flight of stairs you had to go on.
Right.
And then you'd have the
Exactly.
option, if you wanted to leave, you could leave, if you wanted to stay in the house, you could.
Right.
Instead of having to leave.
Yeah,
Yep.
it does sound like a convenient little, campus though.
Yeah.
I like that idea with a lot of
Right.
amenities around.
Well, it's interesting because as you start to talk, as you were talking about things like the villages, if you take that brand and pull it apart, and say
Right.
what's available to me there, right? The laundry list of things that are available are kind of what you're saying you'd be interested in, right? So, so what I heard was life is insurance. We don't like life, right? I don't want to push you down that path, but show of hands, who doesn't like life? Nobody likes life. If you're forced to make a decision, you prefer living over
Yeah.
life,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, because it sounds like a community, you can relate to that.
Right.
Well, it's a,
living
it's a
community.
positive.
It's positive,
Right.
I think living,
Right.
living life,
Right.
living.
And is living better than retirement communities?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Very much
Yeah,
so?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
you might not be ready for a retirement
Retirement
community or the
Exactly.
stigma there.
I do like
Well,
that.
I think it avoids
Notice
a
the villages,
mindset.
it's called villages,
Yeah.
they're not called.
Or a
villages.
predisposition,
A
right?
predisposition,
Right.
absolutely.
And you know, the old adage, age is a number.
Oh, yeah.
You can be 70, you can be 80.
Exactly.
Right.
But the new 80 is 60 and the
Yeah.
new 70 is whatever.
Right.
I wish
So
I was
when you're
40.
thinking of,
Yeah.
well, no, if God willing and you're healthy and you, that stigma of retirement, you're thinking of old, ready to
Right.
go to the next phase.
Right. Okay. So now the next phase of our conversation is to look at two different representations of new logos that are going to replace this one. We've got two different ideas, okay? We've got them in the living and in the life version. So I'd like to hear from you which gives you an immediate sort of response. So we've been very kind of open in our dialogue right now and a nice exchange of ideas. For this next piece, what I'd like to do is, I don't want you to say anything immediately. I want you to look at the logo that I show you, but I don't want you to say anything right away. And then I'm going to go around the room, pick some of you out, and I want you to tell me one at a time what that means to you. Okay? So let's I'm trying to get individual here with this. So let's look at the first one. Okay, when you see that logo now, right? Obviously, what we hang on, Bob. All right, I promise I'll go to you first, but hold on. Let me. Yeah. So when you see that version, okay, obviously what we've done is we've modified the blue cross. Okay, so now we're going to go around the room. And by the way, I also have that in the living version. Okay, so I have it in the light. I'm going to leave it here because I think that's what you've told me. Okay,
I'll give
Bob,
you my 2 cents.
go ahead.
If I wanna move to a community that villages, everything I've heard about villages is a conservative community. Maybe right or wrong, I don't know, okay?
Conservative, that's way wrong.
It's a mixture, it's a mixture, believe me, it's a mixture.
So I'm wrong.
And expensive.
It's expensive, but it's conservative.
Yeah.
No.
No.
It's a
Yeah.
party zone.
That's what I said.
Okay.
It's a party zone?
Yes.
Okay.
That is college right there.
Right.
Well, you know, it's so big, it has different facets of it, so
It
maybe,
may be,
you
because
know,
I've heard it's
different,
gigantic.
right,
Okay.
it's huge, it's got some.
But this
big
here-
party.
This
Go ahead.
I would, if I was the kind of person who wanted, and I'm not being political.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not being.
No, go ahead.
But for all the hysteria about Christ being either in or out of Christmas, all right? If I wanted Christ to be in Christmas, this would be a place I would want to be.
Okay.
If I hated the fact that Christ was in, didn't care, I was an atheist, didn't care, then this would turn me off, and
Okay.
everywhere else would be sort of between. But if I was a person who loved Christmas and what Christmas was all about, Christmas decorations, Merry Christmas, not Happy Holidays, you could say it, but, this, if that was me, then something like this would be more appealing.
Okay. Great. That's Bob.
Okay.
Constance.
Okay. When I look at that cross, I don't really immediately see a cross.
You
I
don't?
think you've toned it down a lot,
Okay.
and so it's far more appealing,
A little softer?
lot softer.
Right. So does it take you a minute to see the cross as opposed to an immediate?
Yeah, it takes me a minute.
Yeah.
I don't even see
Yeah.
No?
Not really.
It doesn't have to be a cross.
No, it's,
How about Jane?
I am already preconditioned to see it as a cross.
Yeah.
So it's hard.
That's hard to do in this
not
environment, I
to see
know.
it that
Right.
way.
Yeah.
But if I did not see it as a cross, I still wouldn't like it because it doesn't say anything.
Right.
It's
Right.
just reduced now to a couple of slashes
Yeah.
that doesn't convey any kind of message to me.
Right.
Any kind of.
Well, let's go back to the.
So neutral.
But let's
that-
go back to the, the logo slide, right? What we all agreed to is if you've already had an experience with one of those brands, Apple, Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, Now you understand what that brand represents. The challenge here is that because you've not really had a covenant living experience yet, you're looking at this as sort of like the ink blot test, right? What do you see in there, right? Everybody knows what the ink blot test is. So it's a little unfair and a little bit of a challenge. So if you were to, and actually let's continue around the room. Constance B.
It's still Christian to me.
Still Christian to you. Okay, that's good. Judith?
I don't see it as Christian as much. Just a glance at, if I hadn't seen the cross, I really wouldn't. I would think of that as just something maybe hopeful.
I see
Okay.
that. Yep.
Interesting.
I see hopeful.
Good point.
I don't know
Kathleen?
why, but maybe it's because if you spell out the word hope,
Yeah.
it kind of like it's pushing forward.
Right.
The
Kathleen?
cross jumps right out at me.
Cross jumps out at you, Donna?
I don't see a cross. I see a plane, I see a bird, I see something flying, something living.
Oh.
Moving.
A little more organic.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I see.
Kathy?
I really like it. I like covenant living with that. I don't.
You like it better than the original logo?
Yes,
The blue?
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
don't like life, I like living.
Okay.
And I like that cross.
Okay. How about John?
Well, again, it doesn't really speak to me.
I see it, but I don't
tell me anything.
Not
When you look
it
at
is
other
right.
logos like
It's
Starbucks,
the
an
angle or
8-year-old
whatever,
knows
I
what a
don't
Starbucks is.
Jumps right out
A
at me.
25-year-old isn't gonna know what that is
Right.
and identify with it.
Right.
Only someone our age,
Right.
maybe,
Right.
who have already
Right.
had experience with
Right.
it.
Okay.
I agree with Joan, and I do see the cross, and I'm wondering, apparently, because of everything you've told us, covenant has to be in there, because that's the name of your company. That would be the word I would change, and not worry so much about the cross. Maybe I would try to change the whole thing.
Right.
The whole thing, people are, covenant makes it seem religious, the cross makes it seem religious. Get rid of both of those and come up with something more generic,
Well, that would fall into the category of revolution versus evolution. We're trying to be not quite.
Am I the only one that sees
revolutionary.
that as a legal term too?
Say again?
Am I the only one that sees that as a legal term? Covenant is not. I think of religion at first, but it's also a legal term.
You can't do it.
Yeah, it's a contract.
It's a contract.
Well, it is, yeah.
And that's the way I can see it that way.
Yeah. Jackie?
I don't mind, I don't know, and Judith, Donna and Kathy. For me, I like it. It's like nouveau art, the cross, and it also represents a different direction of, okay, there might be some Christianity there, but it's a newness, it's a refreshing newness.
Right.
And I think it implies that you're not going to have someone on top of you like a lot of people think they're gonna convert you. No. I'm Woodstock. I've been through Woodstock. I can speak that. I've lived through a lot of different things, and this to me is just fantastic. And I
Okay.
would feel very comfortable
Okay. How about you, John?
in a place like that.
What does that mean to you?
I don't know, I still see the cross in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think that, the covenant, living, I think, and you drop that all 100%, I think that.
Works
that
for
would-
you?
It works for me.
Yeah. How about Joseph?
It's better.
Better? It's an improvement?
The cross is much better.
So it's an improvement over
way
the
it
old
started
cross.
out, it jumped right off the page.
Yeah.
This is better.
Modern.
I don't know whether in a group of 5, the fact that there's a cross in this one and with connotations that would turn me off, whether I would choose to go there. This is better.
Mm-hmm. So you'd be less inclined to immediately.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
And how about you, Paul?
I really like it. I think I look at the cross, I recognize what it is. It comes across to me as soft. It comes across as not an imposition of Christianity. So I recognize what it says. I like the word living over life. Covenant, I recognize, yeah, that's a contract which we're gonna enter in anyway if we go into this.
Right.
And so as a consequence, I look at the combination as being quite positive.
Okay, good. Thomas?
I wouldn't read much into this other than the fact that it's a retirement community
Yeah.
personally, so.
Yeah, okay. So what I'm hearing you say is, the old logo, the blue and the black and, you know, that, okay?
No, no.
Does that feel old to you?
Yes.
Okay.
It's strong,
In
very strong.
retrospect.
Little
Strong
invasive
and
perhaps?
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And that feels more contemporary,
Yeah,
a
absolutely.
little more accessible to you.
Softer.
More
Right.
artsy,
Inviting.
more inviting.
What's that?
Inviting.
More
Hope,
inviting.
and I use the word hope.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good.
that's good, that's good.
Another,
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm gonna throw you a curveball, I'm gonna show you one more. But we're gonna do it the same way. So we have Bob.
Bob's gonna leave the room.
Put on your hands, Bob.
I'll turn around for 5 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, here comes another one.
Bob.
All right.
Oh.
Now, when you see that, okay, and again, I'm gonna
I
do it
like
one at a
that
time, okay? I'll give you a shot, Bob, because I know you're chomping at the bit here, buddy.
I am too, I see something in there.
Okay,
Yeah,
Judith,
well,
I'll let you
it's
go
supposed-
first. Judith's gonna
it's
go
supposed
first.
to be-
I
When
see a
you see
fish.
it- you
Yeah,
see
well,
what?
it's-
What
I
fish?
see a fish.
What
Yeah,
fish?
of course.
Christian,
Christian fish.
Yeah.
which is what I prefer over a cross.
You do?
I do too.
Cause that's the original sign secretly that the Christians
Does anybody
use.
know what that symbol actually is? It's a hard word to pronounce. It's called an ixis, or an
Yeah,
ichthus.
yeah, I can't say it, but yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
But
right.
I immediately see that, cause I know the history, that's why I see it.
Right. Anybody else have that reaction?
Yeah,
Anybody
I
else?
did.
You saw it?
I saw it.
I like it.
I love it. I mean, it's, you know, from a distance, it looks like a beach ball.
That's what I
It looks like a beach ball.
But that's probably the colors,
It
right?
is fun.
Colors,
It's
yeah.
the colors, but it's
Yeah.
a fun, it denotes, enjoyment, fun,
Yeah.
life.
But you know what,
Everyone.
you know what, I'm
That's
wondering
great.
if that's gonna take a while for people to identify the fish because of all the.
Is that a bad thing?
Sure.
Maybe it's
Yeah.
a good thing.
That's a good thing.
I don't know.
Maybe it's a basketball.
Haven't you ever seen the Christian fish that was original,
I
like
like
in
the
the
people
Christian
put 'em on their
fish, but I
cards.
would like it for me to
Jewish
look at it
people put 'em on their
immediately and
cards.
identify it.
Yeah.
So tell me,
It took
go
me a
ahead, Paul.
while.
Well,
I like it.
from my perspective, first of all, the reaction I had is, this looks like inclusivity to me.
Yes.
Not exclusivity, but
Right.
inclusivity. And
Oh,
then when you
very
stop and
good.
think a little bit more about it, I do see a fish, so I see an underpinning of Christianity. And of course, we said before, we like the word living. Covenant, we recognize we're gonna sign a contract anyway. So I look at this
Yeah.
as a rather inclusive community with a Christian underpinning, and we're looking for living at some time for many years. So I look at it as very positive.
Connie?
I didn't see the fish.
You didn't?
I think kinda you're far
No, I
away.
can
I'm right
see
here, I
it.
didn't see it.
City. I see beach balls.
Me too. No, I
And
didn't
fun
see it
living.
yet.
Yeah.
Very familiar.
So
And
are you,
not-
is
not
that,
so much do the-
Jane?
I think this is the most neutral
Yeah,
symbol
neutral.
that
Yes.
we have seen so far. And I think that unless you were Christian or knew something about Christianity, you probably wouldn't
Wouldn't know.
instantly see the fish.
Right.
Right.
So perhaps, if you were Christian, you would be more positive if you wanted that kind of
Yeah.
underpinning to your community.
Yeah.
But if you were not Christian, as I said, I don't know that you would instantly see the fish, and so you would go in with an open mind.
Definitely.
Constance?
I saw the fish right away.
You did?
But the fish is a much gentler Christian, symbol.
That's
And it
I
doesn't,
agree.
you know, put me,
I saw them just
in mind of the.
swimming.
Yeah.
Swimming, right.
So,
It's not they love
Thomas,
the
do you have any?
I don't like the design, period.
You don't?
Well, I think the design, it's what, objectively, what I see, it runs together, where that cross gave it an artistic look. You
Yeah.
know, we're talking like aesthetics, it gave it an artistic look.
Right.
This needs to be, maybe you can keep the same colors and the same shape as them, but it needs to be formed differently, so it stands out like the cross did.
I liked it because I thought it's a beach ball. I still wouldn't think it's a fish, no matter how many people
In
said it's a
other words,
fish.
you're happy, you're happy with it.
I like that, but my question is, now, you're making the religious part of it less, apparently.
Am I?
Well, apparently that's what it seems like, you still want it there.
Am I?
It's still there, so I guess, yeah.
But is it, but that's you're
yeah.
saying.
But I mean, I wouldn't have thought of that as fish, so I would have taken all Christianity out of it because I saw beach ball, and that made me happy, and like people turkey and everything. I'd be much happier
So
playing.
I'm gonna ask
Yeah.
you a loaded question here.
Go for it.
You're part Jewish and you have Jewish friends.
Right.
Okay. You made a pretty strong statement that if a Jewish person saw a cross, they might immediately say no.
Right.
Okay. If a Jewish person saw that, would they say maybe?
They would say maybe, because I don't think, I'm more Christian than I am Jewish, but I didn't see the fish, and I would say maybe, although.
Okay.
I would
So
never know.
so you've all sort of sat at a stoplight and you've seen that car in front of you with the fish on the back of it, right?
Right.
In your opinions, in your perceptions, the cross versus the fish. I heard somebody say that, I think I heard it this way, that the fish is a softer representation of Christianity than the cross.
Right.
Is that, can I get 100% consensus on that, or partial? How many people feel that way?
Yeah.
Okay, so in your experiences, you know, the cross can be what? Can be more
Divisive.
okay,
Yeah.
more off-putting.
And
Mm-hmm.
Somebody, did I hear somebody say inclusive, right? You said that
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
fish
inclusive.
feels more
Yeah.
inclusive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, did say that.
So, if you were to, I guess the real question here is now, you know, we're having kind of a fashion conversation, right? It's like, do I like the colors, do I like the shapes? We're trying to get into the meanings, but the most important thing is if you saw an ad, or a direct mail piece, or a billboard, or something along those lines, and you saw that identity, okay, are you more likely to respond to that mailing or that billboard if you saw that, or if you saw that?
That. Definitely that.
Right.
And
You
the
know,
primary colors too.
Yeah.
You like the primary colors?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
primary
But the
colors.
only religious affiliation really that we've been talking about has been either Christian or Jewish.
Right.
And there's a whole other world.
Yeah.
True. There
of
is, true.
Muslims and
True.
Taoists and
I think that would
Buddhists.
appeal, I think that would appeal to all.
And I
all
think that
aspects.
the cross would be off-putting for many of those other groups.
Right. And you think this would be a little more accessible?
And I think this, as
Yeah.
I said,
A lot more.
I
Yeah.
don't know that people would recognize that as a fish, first of all.
Right.
More inclusive.
And it
Yeah.
does seem to be something
But
that
the
is more available, yeah.
But
the
that
ones that
brings me
would
to my
feel
question
comfort from
again,
that,
if you're
too.
trying,
Yeah.
are you trying to have the religious something there? You've got the fish, you've got the cross, we've decided the fish is less jump out in your face religion, but does it have to have anything, I mean, religion? I mean, like I said, couldn't it just have a house, we're living? Couldn't it be a picture of a house with a tree because we're living on a nice little whatever?
Right.
Why does it have to? If you don't want it to turn off different religions, why do you throw a religion or a religious symbol of any type in there?
Well, that's a good point, and I'll bring that up to my client and see how they respond that
Because
way.
I know
mean,
But I
talking
think
about.
it's the principle of it though.
Yeah.
This is how you
what
believe,
they
this is
are.
your, you know, you have to include what you really have, a covenant, and it's got.
Well, I think what the most important goal, and what I really need to try to understand from you today is, you know, I think we've, as a group, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think what I'm hearing you say is that, you know, that still has a close similarity to the old logo because of the cross.
Right.
Yeah.
And that is, I'm looking for the most accessible logo and name relative to the old logo and name. I want to know which one you feel, if you were the CEO of this organization, okay, and you had to make a choice, okay, and the choice was stay with what you have, or covenant
like-
living with that
No.
version
I like
or
that.
that version.
That.
If you had those three choices and you were the
That one.
CEO, you had to make a choice.
That one.
That
one.
one.
That one.
Number three.
Number three?
The fish is a living
I
symbol and
think
the cross
it's
is
right.
a death symbol.
And I think
We-
it's
even
even
though we're-
That's an interesting
We
comment.
both brought up that we have both, may we say,
Wow.
I'm a Christian, as you know, but I think of the cross, I think of the electric chair, it's death.
Yeah.
It was the way the Romans killed people.
She who does.
That's a good point, Constance, yeah.
And she feels the same way, we're coming
Say
from
again?
different ends.
The fish is life
The
and
fish
the
is
cross
life
is
and,
death.
Death.
But
Like electric
Yeah.
chair, like would you
I
put an
agree-
electric chair
I agree
around
with
you?
that, but
And
the
I know I don't
logo
wanna
itself
offend
doesn't-
anybody, but
yeah,
that's.
Could that be changed in some way? And
Yes,
keep
I see what
those
you're saying,
primary
right,
colors.
you would
But
like to
there's
see more
of a
design,
definition,
right,
more-
right.
It looks like it's all one,
Mhm.
you know.
Yep, I get
kind of
that.
through that,
Mhm.
but if I was to see it, I would definitely have an artist, come up with a little
different
more
representation.
the same colors, the same, but a different shape where it
Right.
really stands out, it's more avant-garde or
Right.
ethereal, something else.
Well, I think, and do you
Oh, I
want
like
Connie or
that.
Constance, I don't wanna.
Connie.
Connie, so that was really interesting comment, that the cross represents
Yeah.
death and that,
the fish.
the
And we
fish
both
represents
were
life.
talking
Right,
about
yeah,
that. I've
exactly.
always
And
felt
do
that
it-
way.
If you were
Mhm.
presented with that idea, does that feel right to you,
Yeah.
the rest
Oh,
of you?
absolutely.
No, you don't see that way, Paul?
No.
No, most people
The
don't.
cross doesn't represent death and
No,
fish?
No,
No,
most people
okay.
it doesn't.
I think
I don't think.
Especially that
the
cross, that
crucifixion.
was a nice
Yeah.
cross,
It doesn't represent the
Right.
at all.
Okay.
yeah.
Comments?
No, I just don't like the design, like I said.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't want this. or
Joseph?
that.
No, I just don't like, I mean,
The,
the fish is
logo needs
interesting,
work.
and I agree with all the comments.
Each time you're getting better, but I agree with Jackie. I mean, the tail is too much.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, and it doesn't need to be as symmetrical as it appears to me.
Mm-hmm.
It, but as a life symbol, the fish is better than anything else.
Okay. And Connie H., I'm hearing you say the same thing, I'm seeing you shake your head.
I agree, 'cause
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's the way I perceive things. Now that you're telling me it's a fish, but I really don't get the fish.
Right.
And so I agree with this gentleman that maybe if that's your,
Right.
what you wanna get across, then you have to do it a little bit better.
Right.
But,
Right.
that being said, again, I say, if you are trying to appeal to the multitude and not just the Christians, why do you wanna have a fish in there? Why do you wanna have a cross in there?
Well,
If
the
you're real,
fish
it's
was
all
the
coming back
multitude.
to the fact that you are a Christian community. You
Yeah.
might as well stick with the first logo, because that says it right out loud, and this one doesn't, and people are still gonna realize it.
But this one does to Christians.
Yeah, I know, but so that's the point being, you're still appealing to Christians. You're not appealing to the
But you're not
multitude.
rejecting others.
Well, nobody rejects others if they come in with their $4,000
Well, I
a
think
month.
that-
Nobody's gonna get rejected, unless you have health conditions that are gonna throw you way out the door. No, I mean, let's face it, it's a dollar. But I mean, to me, it's still, I mean, I have nothing against either religion or the logos, but you're still appealing to the Christian.
Right.
You're saying you wanna make it open to everybody, and it is open to everybody, but you're still putting it out there mostly for Christian people.
Right.
And to me, that, you know, you're not making it totally generic or whatever, you know, like I said, a house or a sun or a tree or whatever.
Right.
Those things, you know, are not gonna say we're a Christian community.
Right.
Because I think covenant, if I'm not mistaken, because I don't know my Bible all that well, but I think there were Jewish covenants too, so
Yeah.
covenant wouldn't be a Christian kind of word. But, if you're putting all those logos in that are Christian, you're making it a Christian covenant.
Right.
So.
Yeah, you got the peace dog.
Yeah, something that's not, you know, I mean, it's Christian, even if it looks like a beach ball, and I still prefer it to be.
It seems as if you're trying to,
Yeah.
somebody is trying to diminish its Christian heritage.
I wouldn't
With
say
what
diminish.
I've seen everything today.
Yeah.
They want to increase their sales, but they don't want to, the original, the cross.
Yeah.
This is who we are.
You don't
Okay.
wanna exclude people, that's the
No,
point.
no. But if you want to get people that, if you want to assemble together a group of people that, because they're not building these places in France, they're not going to build them in South Africa, they're not going to build them in Peru. They're building them here in the United States.
How do you know that to be true?
Yeah.
You
We don't
bet,
know that.
because the thing's over in the
Oh,
United
yeah,
States.
but don't let that fool you. Alright.
No,
You're on a roll, so
my-
go ahead.
My point is, why are you giving up on what you are? Not you, the chairman of the board. If you talk about
That's
the
what
board.
that was my
Why are
point.
you giving up on what you are? Why aren't you proud of what you are? Why aren't you a steadfast believer in what you are? And this is what we do. If you believe like we believe, we welcome you here. Whatever it is, you know, if you're an atheist, if you're
I'm
Mormon,
still Christian, but
Jehovah's Witness, whatever.
Mormons are Christians.
Okay,
We're all Christians.
But if you are what you are, you are what you are. A BMW never produces a Volkswagen Bug. It produces a BMW because that's what it is.
Right.
All right, it seems like you guys are trying to change the perception of who you are.
Right.
And that, you know, when you go back to the Disney logo, you wanna go all the way back to the Disney
Yeah.
logo. You need a logo, either a different logo, get rid of the word covenant, you know, that it could be managed in small print by the
Right.
covenant, whatever it's, corporation. It seems like you're trying to change who you are.
Right.
To generate more sales.
Right.
Well, if you're trying to change who you are, well then change it.
Right.
Make it, smash the whole thing, make it completely different.
That would be revolutionary, Bob.
Yes.
That's maybe what you need.
Because otherwise you're trying to just.
Yeah. All right, but let's we want to try to get, you know, a sort of a balanced look at everybody's perception. That is certainly an opportunity and a, you know, possible direction. I saw some heads going so go ahead, Connie. And then we'll go to Jane.
I know that it's Christian, but I also feel completely different about it. I feel it's much more open, much more generous Christian, you know, the fish and feeding people.
Right.
It's not the kind of Christian that I shy away from.
Right, okay, that's interesting. And Jane?
The impression that I had from the discussion was that the company was trying to be appealing to many people. And a way to do that would be to alter the logo and the name perhaps, to update them.
Correct.
One or both of them.
Right.
The way companies do all the time.
Right.
You don't have the same logo for companies that are in business after 25 years, 50 years, whatever, whenever they decide to change, because they want to use colors, use shapes, use phrases that are stretching out to a modern audience or a different audience in some way. And I think that this version does those things. I like the living, certainly instead of retirement, which does have a negative connotation nowadays. And I think that the symbol is good because of the colors that it chose, and also because it did keep the fish. Because this company sounds as if it does have a foundation in Christian theology that is part of its nature.
Belief system, right, yeah.
And they don't want to lose that, but they do want to broaden out to a different audience.
Right.
And I think this one works in those ways.
Paul, and Joseph, you guys were.
Well, from my perspective, the cross, in whatever manifestation it's presented, comes across as somewhat fundamental. And I think that a lot of us who profess to be Christians sort of back away when we see a fundamentalist approach. It's in your face, I'm going to change you, I'm going to try to convert
Interesting,
you.
right.
I don't see that. I see this as much softer. I see it as an inclusive Christian symbol. And I mean, it's not jumping out at you, it's there. I can see a beach ball here, which of course says, hey, let's make it fun. We want to live and have fun. And to me, it comes across as quite inclusive.
Right, good. Okay, Joseph, what were you thinking?
Just that as more people give their thoughts, I can hardly disagree with anyone.
Right.
This
You
is
see it all the different ways, right?
Yeah. Everybody's a little bit right.
Right.
And I think especially modernization. This is a more modern,
version.
version, yes.
Yeah.
How about you, John? Do you subscribe to the same theories you've heard?
No, I can't, what I can't understand is those three colors.
Yep.
What's the purpose of those colors? Why could they be three different colors?
They could be, sure. Yep. Would you like to see three different colors? Would you prefer three different colors?
I would, yes.
You would? Yeah. So, bottom line. Again, if you're the CEO of this company and you're looking at the current logo and name,
Needs a new makeover.
needs a makeover.
Change.
Needs to change. I get it, Bob. I know you're not ready to do that yet. You're ready
Oh,
to...
no, I'm not,
Bob's ready to light the candle and go revolutionary.
I like what I think of
Yeah.
as meatball.
Yeah, yeah.
I would look at that.
Yeah.
That is
I remember what I heard you say is this logo and this name has perceptions attached to it. That's what you've told me. You've said.
It speaks for something.
Excuse me?
It speaks for something.
Right, but you've said that this logo has very specific perceptions attached to it, be it the retirement community piece, be it the cross, be it the covenant name. Those three components, you've given me various kinds of input on the detriments associated with that. I heard very few glowing positive aspects of that, okay? When we get to this one, I'm hearing you respond back saying it's a positive step forward in overcoming the negative perceptions of the existing logo. That's what I'm hearing you say. I'm hearing you tell me this is more inclusive, it's more, yeah, okay, we could mess around with the design, but that covenant living is more positive than covenant retirement communities, because it might not be ready for a retirement community.
Right.
That the Christian fish symbolism is more accessible than the more strict version of the cross that you see there. So it becomes more inclusive, where you've said this is a little bit more exclusive, right? So that's the feedback you're giving me. That's the feedback we were looking for, is if we were to do nothing, then that would tell me, based on your input, that we would be continuing down the path of the negatives associated with this right now are, I'm not ready for a retirement community, the covenant name, I'm not quite sure what that really means, and the cross, so I must have to be a Christian to be there, or it's a heavy Christian organization. Whereas when you see this, you're saying living is more positive than retirement communities, because I want to go to a place that is full of life, right?
Yeah,
And
if you had a fish floating in a martini
and so the Christian fish is not as rigid as the cross sort of shape, knowing that we're going to continue forward with the covenant name. So that's what I'm hearing you say, right? You know, ultimately we all vote with our pocketbook, and there's way more to this organization, just like Doncaster or Seabury or Macaulay or Avery Heights. There's much more to these organizations than just their logo, right? You gotta drive up to the campus, and did I hear you say you were in real estate at one point? Oh, I thought somebody said real estate, but you know, you've got to have curb appeal. You've got to walk in the door and feel a certain sort of immediate sense of fitting in there. There's got to be a wow factor. You've got to be able to afford it. It's got to have everything that you want. You're not going to make a decision exclusively on a logo. What we want to do is present something to you that is going to help you decide, when you get two pieces in the mail, throw it out, or what does that mean? You know, that's what we want. If we want you to be able to say, yeah, I should find out more, what is a covenant living thing, whereas blue and black with a cross, retirement community, not today, and throw it out. So we're looking for that transition from where we are today into a more positive step forward in accepting the first representation of this company, which is their logo and their brand. Yeah,
It
right,
does.
yeah. The old one does.
Mhm.
The old, I'm referring to the old,
Yeah,
yeah, especially
Okay.
after seeing these, right.
Yep. So if I could get a show of hands, how many people think the old logo needs a facelift? 100%, okay. And how many people would reject this if it came to you in some fashion? How many people would absolutely reject this logo? Nobody? How many people feel that you'd at least like to know more about what this organization is and what they do? Good. Excellent. Well, how about we go around the room and just some final thoughts on what your experience has been today and you know, when the Covenant Living mailer shows up, you know, in a couple of months, I'm
Are
not
we
gonna
gonna
say.
get one? You have our addresses.
Yeah.
Are we gonna get one with the new logo so we know what happened?
Well, you'll remember today, won't you? Of course, I don't know if I can get you to go down to Cromwell though, because you're, you know.
Well, I'm not going anywhere from my house except feet first. I'm
Okay,
dying there, so.
All right, well, why don't you tell me what
First
your
it means
thoughts
going
were.
down 91. I
Yeah,
don't
right,
think I
yeah.
would.
Tell me a little bit about your thoughts about today and.
I think it's very interesting, and I think the new logo appeals to me more.
Right.
But I still think that the religiousness is
Yes,
there,
yeah.
and in that case, I don't really have a problem with the first one because it's religious,
Right.
and that's what you're really about. You're trying to make it the other way, but I'm not really 100% sure you really wanna make it the other way.
Mhm.
I think maybe you really don't, because otherwise, why don't you just
Keep it the way it is.
keep it, well, either keep it the
Change
way it is if you want it to be, or else, you know, that's what it is, that's
Right.
what your whole thing is based on, and putting a beach ball on there is, my beach ball, I'm sorry. Putting a beach ball on there maybe isn't gonna make it any different than
Yeah.
what it really is. You
Right.
are a religious base, maybe, senior living,
Right.
and that's not a bad thing.
Right.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
not a
yeah.
bad thing,
Right.
and people can choose
Yeah.
if they want a religious-based one or if they want a non-religious-based
Right.
one. And changing that logo doesn't maybe make that much of a difference.
Okay.
But I do like the beach ball.
Okay.
But
Jackie?
it changes getting people in the door.
Yeah.
Maybe.
All right, hang on, Jackie,
Right.
what was your?
Well, the question again?
The question is the total experience you've had today and where your head is at with this
Floating.
exercise. Your
I
head
was really
spinning?
sort of listening to everyone and taking in, because I'm diabolically opposed of going to any of these.
Yeah.
But it kind of
Diabolically opposed,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
I a little bit more softer about it and a little more open about it, thank you, because,
Yeah.
you know, it's, I think the logo does represent a newness, a
Yeah.
face of a newness, because as John had indicated, in the last 10 years, there has been a lot of changes
Right.
in the last 10
Yeah,
years.
no doubt.
Huge, humongous.
Right.
So, I think it represents the changing times of the, you know, I wouldn't care if I was in a Jewish one, any religion.
Right.
It's what it's like after I've done the research.
Right.
But if this particular one, because it is Christian based, I think it enhanced more people, to look at it because it's softer.
Right.
As people have indicated, and it's upright and lively, and I've already redesigned the logo.
Okay.
And I'll
Wow.
show you after.
You can show me after, or you can sketch it on a pad.
Yeah, we already redesigned it,
All right.
yeah.
John?
There's a copyright signal. that's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, right.
No, you signed it away.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you've already signed
That's
it.
right, you
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
You're right.
That's okay.
You signed away any.
Yeah, right, forget it.
Any
John,
rights.
What do you think, John?
I would, leave Covenant Living the way it is, and if we had to do anything, I would mess around a little bit with the covers, so.
Okay.
But, as far as the whole thing, like I say, I would leave Covenant Living the way it is.
Okay, good. Joseph?
It's been a very interesting process to see, I mean, you can see and feel some people are changing, maybe even me.
Yeah.
But, a very interesting, process.
Okay, good, excellent. Connie?
I enjoyed the process.
Good.
I like the fact that you took the retirement away.
Yep.
So that he doesn't feel like there's a
Yeah.
dead end here.
Right.
And I love the colors. I love the beach ball.
The beach ball, right, yeah, okay. Paul?
Well, I think it was an interesting collection of people.
Yeah.
I think recognizing that almost all of us are either thinking about it or recognizing that having some form of living in a community like a retirement community is probably facing us.
Yeah.
And so as a consequence, I think you have people who have pretty strong opinions on what they would like to see.
Mm-hmm.
And the way we went about it here, I think those opinions surfaced.
Mm-hmm.
And from my perspective, where we ended up with this particular logo, I think it was of all the most inclusive, friendly, positive.
Okay. And how's my revolutionist down there?
No, that's
That's
excellent.
it?
I've
Ditto,
had,
ditto.
This has been a great time.
Yeah, good, good.
The only thing the beach ball thing,
Yeah.
I don't know what yours looks like, but I would get rid of the beach ball and take the Porsche emblem.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
And then fill that in with the colors somehow.
Yeah.
But somehow.
Okay.
So at least, it's not like, don't call me, I spent a lot of money, but
Yeah.
it might strike a
Right.
different chord.
Right.
But this has been terrific. I've
Good.
got a whole lot.
Thomas?
Well, this is the logo that I would go with. If your customers, this is what he's trying to achieve.
Right.
Um,
You're just not going anywhere.
I don't, living is retirement, and I'm not ready for retirement home. I've been retired for 13 years.
Yeah.
As long as I stay healthy, I'm not going to one.
Right.
My wife wants to go to one right now.
Yeah, there you go.
But,
And where do you live?
Windsor.
Windsor. Jane?
She wants to go.
I have been to a few of these groups. I always enjoy myself immensely.
Yeah.
Because you do meet interesting people.
Yep.
And the people who come have opinions.
Right.
Which I like.
Yeah.
But in regards to this particular thing, I think that the logo on the screen is probably going to be more commercially useful to the company. And that's what they're
That's
after,
a really
I
good
gather.
point, right, yep.
Right.
But when I'm looking at a retirement community, if I do, the first consideration is going to be how much does it cost?
Right.
The second thing is going to be where is it located?
Right.
Yeah.
Cromwell for me would not be an option because I know no one in Cromwell. I would be far away from everybody. And then if I did get a flyer or some advertising for this company, after seeing the logo, I think it would be really important what language the copywriter used. Because if you are going to be a company that is inclusive and provides for all of a person's needs, religious and otherwise, that ought to be up at the top of the list of items, that there is religious access for all faiths or non-faiths. And somewhere buried in there, you might want to have a list of who the reverend is, who the imam is, who the rabbi is, who's going to be associated with the organization. I'm doing your ad campaign.
Yeah.
Also, at the top of my list, I would like to see entertainment learning options.
Yep.
So that you knew what kinds of enrichment activities were available,
Right.
either on the campus itself or through transportation to a site.
Right. Good.
I want to go to the tennis tournament in New Haven, for instance.
Right. Yep. Okay. Connie?
Oh, I thought it was really interesting, my first focus group, and
Yeah.
very nice to be among a bunch of people in my age group.
Yeah.
And, good opinions, and I think fooling around with the logo, trying it vertical, trying it with a little less tail.
Yeah.
But I think it is a very open feeling to it, and, I would read the information.
Okay. Judith?
Well, first, this is my second group, focus group to be in. I've enjoyed listening to the different points of view and learning from it.
Yeah.
That's what I love about
Right.
this, and because there are so many different opinions.
Right.
But at the end, to go to this, yes, I like this, and I think this is a great beginning. You know, you see what happens after you put it out there, but I think this is really nice.
Good. Okay. Kathleen?
I think it's very interesting to hear what everyone's opinion is about it, and I don't know, it doesn't kinda turn me on or turn me off.
Right. Okay. Donna?
Well, this is my first focus group, and I found it extremely interesting.
Good.
Listen to everybody's opinions.
Yep.
We are who we are.
Right.
If you want a religious overtone, you're gonna look for it.
Right.
Sometimes that makes people feel better about getting older. As far as this logo, I think it's wonderful. It's modern. It's got a youthfulness to it. I think if I received it in the mail, I would certainly look at it and
Good.
say. And as far as location, I mean, it all depends where you live. I mean,
Right.
there's a lot of people who live in that Cromwell, Rocky Hill, Weathersfield area that would be extremely interested in it.
Right.
I think I love it. I
Good.
think the colors are beautiful.
Good.
The fish aspect of
Yeah.
it, I think it's great.
Good.
I love the new logo.
Yep.
I don't know if you're gonna use it, but it's so modern and it really is eye-catching.
Yep.
It really, really is. And if that came in the mail to me, I would really.
You'd wanna know more?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would want to. I wouldn't I don't know anybody in Cromwell, the Rocky Hill area. I've been in the valley for 45 years,
Yeah.
so.
Right.
You
So you're
know,
not
I
going
would
to
want
Cromwell.
somebody
We'll
here.
go together.
Yeah.
Finnegan's Pub is there, it's not a bad place to eat.
Yeah. And Joan?
I really enjoy the focus group,
Good.
listening to the different perceptions
Yep.
of, especially the cross, how
Right.
people perceive that.
Yeah.
And, I love this logo.
Good.
And I like it as a beach ball.
Yeah.
Because that says to me that it's summer.
Right, good.
But I would not want a place that offers too much.
Yeah.
Because with, you add a golf course
Yep.
and all that, then the
Cost
price.
goes up, right,
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, you guys have been great, I appreciate it, I think we're pretty much on time here, you'll be able to collect your stipend. And I'm gonna tell you one thing, okay? So, I mentioned earlier on that I've been working with senior living clients for 20-plus years. The one thing I've heard from every resident that and my former firm worked with communities all over the U.S. Literally, we had clients in 40 different states. And the one thing I learned is aging is universal, right? And crosses every socioeconomic boundary that you can possibly come up with, right? It doesn't really matter, we're all gonna get there or not.
Aches and pains along with it.
Right. The one thing I've learned, and we've worked with Jewish communities and Catholic communities and Episcopal communities and Lutheran communities and you name it. The one thing I've learned is every single resident I ever met in a retirement community said to me the same thing. I wished I had done it sooner. So the one advertisement I'm going to give you is don't wait, because you're still confused as to what these places really are. And for Covenant Village of Cromwell, even though it's not there, you drive there on a spring or a summer day and you look at that campus, you're going to be astonished how beautiful it is and what wonderful things they have going on there. Like a Doncaster, like a Macaulay, like a Seabury. So if you do see some advertising come out soon about their expansion and their change in plans, I highly encourage you to check it out. Tell all your friends. Can't hurt you to go down there and just drive in and see what it looks like. You never know.
How close are you to Route 9?
Excuse me?
How close are you to Route 9?
It's literally, if you literally.
Oh my God, it's so close.
Yeah, you know where
Jump.
you go through New Britain on Route 9, and where 91.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you go Route 9. There's a I think it's exit 23 or something like that. And that's that main Cromwell.
Right.
It's the old 72 now. I think it's 372.
That was Kmart used to be.
Yeah, exactly. You take a left, you go over the highway, you take a right, you're right there.
So you don't have to get on 91, you can
No.
take.
No,
No,
absolutely
not at
not.
all. No,
And
right
it's
past
a
that.
very accessible location.
And how much does it cost a month?
Well, that's a whole different ballgame. Well, because like anything else, it depends on where you are, what you need. Yeah, right, exactly. So, it's very affordable, and it's a great organization.
Do you have any literature now? Just curious.
I don't. I would say go to, covenantvillageofcromwell.com and you can look it up there. Good. Well, thank you again. I appreciate it, everybody. Enjoy your day. Stay warm. Let's hope for no nor'easter next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Bad enough.
and you'll be able to get your stipends on the way out. All right? Yeah, no, that's super. Oh, you didn't give me your logo.
Well, the
Give us the
logo,
logo.
well, it was gonna actually say the same thing.
Yeah.
Read
Yeah.
that always one
I
thing.
taught art for years.
Enhance the living aspect. In other words,
Yeah.
Can you draw?
no, I'm not drawing on it, no, don't do that. In other words, and I was gonna make this capital, and then go green around, and then one around here, and then
Yeah,
show white.
no, you can leave here. They'll
To
throw
show
something
white,
here.
and then something in the.
John, thank you,
but
sir.
after
Pleasure to
hearing
meet you, my
everyone,
friend.
I
Thank
think
you.
that this does work. This
Yeah,
does work.
primary, it's 'cause
It
it's
does
bright.
work. It's because it's simplistic.
Yeah, thank you, I appreciate it.
It is
Jackie,
simplistic.
go use the bathroom.
Okay, all right.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you,
Now, don't
Jackie.
get up my
Can you
eyes
get
a little.
behind here?
I'm not as diabolically opposed.
Yeah.
As I was.
Right.
Oh, John.
Oh, yeah. Oh, very much.
But she told me about in the church thing. No, since it was
Right.
and I never heard anybody outside.
Great comment, right?
And I said,
Right,
More, right, in the old days, they did.
Thank you.
Yeah. On the old days, the old,
Hi,
when I
ladies.
was 55, when I moved to the old Church of Jesus Christ, had a way back when, no? Okay.
So I don't go.
maybe the fish.
Maybe.
I don't think that, but that's my other sister, like the guy that goes to the store and they have the bracelet, and I see the fish.
Yeah, that's great, yeah.
No, it's because Josephine said, basically, right, it's something, that was the best thing that happened.
Bye, honey.
I think we even had songs that talk about the cross, but, it's home.
Yep, right, yeah.
And so, but anyway, I was so excited,
Yeah.
it was that lady there.
Yeah, Connie, yeah, she said it really great.
She's such a sweet lady. But as she said, and I like what you say, you're Christian, not Christian, you're behaving. And that's why I bet she's so sweet.
Yeah, nice, thanks so much for your comment.
Well, thank you,
Bye,
I
Judith.
really enjoyed it so
Good.
much.
Yeah, that's
I was a little
excellent.
apprehensive coming.
Well, let them know out there, I mean, I'm sure they'd be happy to have you in another group sometime.
Yeah, but I really enjoyed it.
Excellent, well, thank you so much.
But I enjoy hearing everybody's opinions.
Yeah, it's always interesting, right?
Well, we get in our own little world, and I try to read it, and the one that says you can't, you still have your television, you still have your internet, you can still see the world, even if you're sitting in your little unit.
Right, exactly.
And you're not isolated.
No, not at all.
If you choose not to be.
Correct, that's exactly right, you can engage as much as you choose to,
And
or as
my-
little.
And my little complex, what I like about where I live, it's just very low key,
Yeah.
very small compared to what yours is, you walk around the complex, one time, and that's a half a mile.
Oh, yeah, that's
So
nice.
you know, I strive to go 2-3
Right,
miles,
right,
you know what
Yep,
you can do.
get good exercise.
Great exercise,
Yeah.
and then, of course, close to health tracks.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
I'm close to health tracks.
That's excellent.
But, if I get into literature, I am curious to see.
Yeah.
But there's so many places now, but they all done. But again, it is money.
Yeah.
And,
Right, but, you know, there's
most places, like the one, I think it is in Westport, that's the one, see, my son, he lived in San Diego, they just sold their house, now they're in Fairfield.
Right.
The town of Fairfield.
Right.
But he wants me to come there, so, I'd be nearer him. And it's a place where they have the.
In Westport?
And I think it's Westport, it's not Westbrook, it's definitely Westport.
Right.
They have, it's,
I'm trying to think of what would be down there. Just make sure it's not it's not assisted living.
no,
Because
it's not.
I'm not familiar with a Westport.
Maybe it is assisted living,
Yeah, it
but
might
I
be.
think it might be, because anyway,
Like a
point is-
Maple, there's a Maplewood, or there's a bunch of them down that way,
Yeah,
but they
it
tend to
might
be
But
more.
point is, it's fairly new, and it's got the budget, it's got the income range of
Yeah,
scale, so,
right.
not every, you know,
Yeah,
people
no, I
don't
get it.
know that
Yeah.
there's the scale,
Yep.
especially here in Connecticut.
Yeah.
There is a scale, but I'm not ready to go there yet.
No, you're not ready yet. Thanks again.
Yeah.
Thank you guys, appreciate it.
Can't you build one of these communities close to Hudson?
I don't know if,
I'll
Amazon
say it was
took it
a
over.
year ago now, but Amazon opened up a store in New York.
I knew they did,
Oh,
yeah.
they're
New York City, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah,
That used to be.
and it might have been a Barnes& Noble, because they had more than one store.
Oh, yeah.
They had their flagship store, which was their original site.
Okay.
And they also had a couple of outlying stores. It might have, yeah.
I got your money, honey.
Remember the days of antitrust legislation?
Yeah.